что была заинтересованность коллектива бороться.
What's good with you?
It's the fucking stream. Who the fuck is this guy?
And that's interesting, like stopping smoking.
Really big on accountability, like, don't fuck up. Like, all right, I won't fuck up.
Well, you see me getting wasted.
Sidechain is pretty religious.
They are
400 days, and then I missed one day, and I was like, fuck.
What's the?
I think it's like, that's just some nerdy shit that I fucking get into.
I just do it like with like the so who does this?
Apparently, we do it. That's fucking hilarious. It definitely taught me a lot about perception.
It's absolutely like absolutely.
Yep. No, I get it, man. I wait to play it for people, and they go nuts over that shit. Man, that beat makers I've never heard of, and their shit's amazing. I'll probably never listen to them again, which that's kind of fucking sad.
I mean,
Even with Spotify specifically, it's still fucked up. I remember being very angry about it. It's not really a label, but you know, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I have no idea what the fuck 25-year-old Cryptic was thinking when he did that. The thing that takes longest is that initial idea. I just open up TextEdit and I'll just jot down ideas. I don't take a lot of time on the verses, but I put a lot into them.
No, they are definitely, and again, you better listen, because otherwise he'll smack you.
Is it okay? Like, you can get that imposter syndrome creeping in, like all that shit. So it's more of me, like, I know that as far as like critiques go, like, you get shit on in a magazine. Like, I never cared if they shit on my beats. It just never bothered me. And they shit on my rap shit, like that fucking, oh man, that's just fucking every emotion. Whoa, fuck that, I don't suck. Fuck that. Like that shit was the worst. I think now people review stuff that they like. It just felt like a personal attack.
Definitely should. Yeah, but you're pouring yours, like you're speaking from a soul. Lyrics are statements. I would assume you don't want to make like a disposable rap. Something that is like, yeah, forget it, let's listen to the next one. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the same thing, or at least to me it seems that it is like very different mediums. You would like to listen to a beat again, but...
Yeah, I think the only people that listen to beats that way are us. Like, oh man, you switch up the drum pattern with that one ghost note in the 8th bar that doesn't repeat in the song. That's crazy. But the fucking average listener doesn't give a shit.
You listen to raps way more that you can potentially disagree with. There's so much more that you can misunderstand or not get because it is language. It's like language is fucked up in the first place. It's like the perfect playground for misunderstandings. Everybody hears what he wants to hear, basically, at the end of the day.
I critique my raps way harder than I critique my beats too. So like, even from that perspective, from my own self, like, whether it's the doubt or the imposter syndrome, I feel that sometimes. I'll feel that a lot more with raps than with, which is weird because I've been doing raps longer than beats. So you'd think I'd be more like, it's not that I'm not confident, but what's the word? I'm not lacking the confidence in it, but I'm quicker to self critique and have self in the rap section than the beat section. Partially because I think I've gotten to a point, and I hate to say this, but I've made so many beats that it feels disposable, in a sense that like, all right, I made this, let's move on to the next one. But when I write a rap, like, I like that shit is just, I cherish that shit forever. Affect me in that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. it's interesting to think about the different relationship that I have with my beats and my rhymes. I never really like pondered too deeply before.
And I mean, you said that you like it's a couple of years that you spend on each record, which just puts them in a completely different relationship. Proves the point of like disposability, because you just jam those out, but you spend considerable time on making a coherent piece of work, this body of work that is then an album.
I also think the idea of album is a little bit different too. Like for me, an album, it's a body of work that everything works together. It's coherent individually, but I feel like it's more powerful together in the order that I presented it in. You know, like it ties together. It's a movie. It's not just, which I don't feel like enough people do anymore. There are some people who do it, obviously, but like, I think it also just has to do with how we consume music. Like back in the day, if you had a cassette deck, you put it in, you had to listen to all the side A to get to side B, forwarding or rewinding. Like you had no choice. And the same thing with vinyl. I mean, you have a choice, but you have to actually get off the couch to like move the needle. You know?
Absolutely. That's an interesting point.
I even find myself doing it. Like when a new album comes out, I'll listen to it, and then I pick my 5 favorite songs, put it in a playlist, and I probably don't go back to that album for a while.
And I mean, isn't it even like a time of a single right now where views, streams, money in the bank? You don't like, and then you make hopefully another single.
I mean, I kind of jumped into that boat with the Friday single thing to try and live that life. And I get it. But with my rap shit, I can't do that. I just can't even imagine just putting out singles. I can't. That my brain, like, I'm about to short circuit right now thinking about 12 songs and figure out how they work together and take the ones out. I love that process, man.
It's not part of your marketing campaign for the upcoming title to kind of tease a single from it. It's like, nope.
No. I have a marketing campaign, but it's not that. Yeah.
What would you say was the most successful move this year, marketing-wise, for your music?
The most successful thing was the I don't know if you even saw it, like the free Parada CD that I did. Did you see that one? I ran it for like 2 months leading up to the release, and then maybe a month or two after. Is basically, I sent it out to my email list, and I did an ad on Facebook, basically to my warm audience, you know, my people, and be like, hey, if you want this Parada CD, all you got to do is pay shipping and handling, and I'll send you the CD for free.
This is the core.
Of course, the trick is that once they put all their information in, their credit card information in, I send them in a funnel. Oh yeah, but we have this T-shirt too, discounted only for this offer, and you want this other album discounted for this, and that shit went so amazingly well. I couldn't have predicted. Like, it was something I learned through this marketing thing that I try. Never thought it would be successful, but I made more money doing that, giving away CDs, than I did my last couple albums. So yeah, that was
crazy.
And I got a lot of new customers that they've been fans of me, but they never like put money to it. And once they did that, I just feel like they're more engaged. They're more part of the tribe. And you know, I mean, it's kind of like what drums preaches, man. Like, it's offering value, and it's not just about the music. It's something tangible that I'm giving you for free. And if you want some other shit, here it is. You know, when I first looked at that technique, which it's a common thing, but people don't really do it in music much. I looked at it as kind of deceitful. Like, I felt my initial reaction was like, this is fucking, it just feels gross. Like, I'm offering them something for free just to get them to buy other shit. But it's like, they're saving money every which way. They're getting a discount on the other shit, and it's their choice. I'm not twisting their fucking arm. Like, here's a free CD. Some people just took the CD, and that's cool. They're in my ecosystem now. I have their email address. If I do it again, they'll know again, and that's great. CDs cost so little to make. It's not like I'm losing money. I felt gross thinking about it, and then I was like, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? And yeah, it worked out great. Yeah. So I think the most successful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Friday singles, that was pretty successful too.
On growing the tribe, like was that or on what part?
Just getting streams, like that's why I there's an asterisk to that success, but that was kind of my goal. My goal was like, I had 10,000 streams the year before. I was like, I want to have 100,000 streams this year, and I was like, well, how am I going to do that? I'm like, all right, I'll just put something out every Friday and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm at like 150 now, so I did it. I'll never do it again. Fridays, that shit was so stressful, man. I just like, I'm like, I've done a beat every day, but that's just a beat. This is like me sequencing entire 2-minute songs and getting artwork ready and having to have it uploaded 2 weeks before so that it hits the date. And the second I'm finished, I'm like, okay, I gotta open on the next one. I'm like, fuck, when can I breathe? And most of the it was like most of the work was kind of done because these are all, well, not all, but most of them were older beats that I was just kind of fleshing out. But I didn't want to feel like I was phoning anything in, so I like really put time and effort into it. And a couple of them, I dropped the ball. Like, there's so much pressure doing things that frequently release that are gonna live forever. That like, now I go back and listen. I'm like, that mix is really bad, or like, like it happens, I guess, with anything that I release. Like, I'll listen to some things on Parade. I'm like, I could have done that different. But like with these singles, it was just so much constant pressure and no room to breathe that I was a little hard on myself when I let things slip through.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely things. People don't call me on it, but like, there's one song I listened to the other day because right now I'm compiling all those to release as an album on Spotify, just so that people don't have to sift through however many singles it is and they can just press one thing and listen. So today, coincidentally, I listened to all of it's 39 singles, I think. And some of the mixes are so bad. And I'm just noticing it now because it's literally like I finish a mix, I master it, I upload it, and start the next one. I don't listen to it again. The only time I get to listen to things again is really in sidechain.
Mm-hmm.
Little sets together, half of those were from that. But it's not like I'm sitting in my house listening to single number 13. It's just once I'm done with it, it's a baby bird that just flew from the nest and I never see it again. Now I'm looking at it and some of them are pretty ugly bird. But some of them are great. Some of them I still love. Well, I don't want to like beat myself up on air, so to speak, but some of the technical things, like the mixes, could definitely I could have taken a little bit more time.
But you would need more time as well. That it's the deal that you make with yourself, that it is like, it's a Friday release. The whole point of Friday release, like, it needs to be out there. It's I really embrace this type of an exercise, a mental exercise, and kind of, you have to learn to deal with trade-offs.
Участники трансконтинентального автомобильного марша пробега Европа-Азия прибыли в Читу.
And I want to say that's one of the good things about that process is that your hand is forced, because I can dwell on a mix for a year. Let me. If you fine, I'm gonna wait until the last second, send you something.
Two things that I see in Zoom sessions. One is you are silent. How do you do this?
No, I don't talk to them. I just like, I love observing, man. Like,
I want to learn this technique of just listening.
Уровень потерь при уборке, транспортировке.
Sometimes I wish I would talk more, but it's kind of like, again, it's kind of just an extension of who I am. Like, I'm really good at one-on-one interactions. In groups, I always kind of play the background and survey the scene. Like, even as a producer, like I work, like as I'm still part of, but it's kind of loosely part of Adam's family.
You are perceived to be a walking mouth with a word limitation. Your notebook is crippled polio.
When we'd work on songs with all of us there, I'd kind of just be the guy in the back. You know, I was the mixing engineer, the recording engineer, the beat maker for most of those sessions. So like, but I felt more like a producer in one-on-one sessions. Like, I'm more vocal. I'm more like, no, you got to do this. But in groups, I just kind of like to chill and watch. I don't know. It bothers me sometimes that I'm so quiet in those situations. But
quite interesting, because the assumption would be like you're an MC for so many years, and it's just like one would assume that that MCs are more of a talkative, chatty types, but it's interesting you kind of manage to keep the cool. So yeah, I admire, like,
I look at it sometimes, you look at it as a magical trait. Sometimes I like, you know, it's not that there aren't times that I want to speak up and say something, especially when it's something that I've been through or whatever. But like, also sidechain it's a unique experience. You have people of such varied like expertises and experience levels, and like, you know, if I have something to say about mixing and Polly's there, I don't want to hear what I have to say. I want to hear what fucking Polly has to say. Like, chopping samples. Like, I want Carl's talking. Let Carl talk. Like that. He's an expert. Like, on a level that I can't even imagine to be. So I want to hear. I joined sidechain like as long as I've been doing it, but I wanted to learn. Like, I'm like watching drums on the live streams. I'm like, I don't understand this process. I need to see this. And it's not to like steal things, but it's just to observe, learn, and take the pieces that are gonna become my pieces in my way. And so like sidechain is a lot of that. There's so many experts in there. Like, everyone is an expert at something, and just enjoy hearing experts speak. You know, like, it's kind of hard to find a place to jump in with some things. Like, if we start talking about like label stuff, maybe I would jump in a little bit more, because I don't think a lot of people have ever run a label, and my label wasn't super successful, but I did it for years. You know, but like, or releasing vinyl, I could talk about that. I've done that a bunch. But yeah, like the best example is Polly. Like if Polly's talking about mixing,
let me take out my notepad.
Yeah. Shout out to sidechain. Can't say enough about that.
The second thing that I noticed that you then do is do you finger drum then?
Yeah, I'm finger drumming sometimes in sidechain. Sometimes it'll be while people are talking, and I pretty much always like there's times pretty much up just in case with the inspiration. But a lot of times, like, I'll be like listening to a set and I'll hear like a drum pattern that I don't understand. Not that I don't understand it, like I can understand it. Obviously, I'm listening to it and I'm hearing it, but like I can't predict where it's going, or like it's just a groove that I would never do. I try and mimic it while it's playing.
Okay, nice.
To kind of like add it to my vocabulary to add into my own things later. Because that's kind of a lot of how I learned finger drumming. The mechanics of it I learned from different places, but like learning different grooves is just about listening to records and like, okay, I'm gonna listen to that on repeat really slow and figure it out and play along with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of seeing that in real time sometimes on Sidechain. Yeah, like I always right now. There's always ready to go, just in case. Probably can't be too good for my push, but I don't know if it's been off in the last few months. It just is up. It's on. I wake up, brush my teeth, make some tea, come in here and start finger drumming. Like that's my routine.
Is this your go-to as well, in a sense? Like, is this what gets you, what you use to get going?
It's more than anything, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun. Like jamming on finger drumming, it's just fun. I'm not the greatest at it. I'm passable. The reason I learned things.
Listen to sidechainers. They know.
No, I feel you on that. Like in my tracks, you'll hear like a different version of that. Like, but when I'm finger drumming live, like for 5 minutes straight, like I'm not there yet where I want to be, I should say. But the entire reason I learned it, because I only started finger drumming about 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. I wanted to perform, and I didn't want to, and this is taking nothing away from people who do this, because I also want to get in that space too, but I didn't want to be another guy at the beat event with a 404. Like everyone does that. I wanted to do something that not everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that shit. But I'm like, all right, what am I going to do that's different? I'm like, I'm going to learn a finger drum. And I was like, yeah, I'll give myself a year and I'll be where I want to. And it's been 3 years and I've done it on stage in those 3 years. But granted, there was a global pandemic somewhere in there that kind of stopped shows from happening.
That kind of breaks my plan, but I will just continue.
Don't mean to say this. Kind of glad it happened that way.
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 years being able to perform, because I wouldn't have gone on stage anyway. But that's why I learned it. But then when I started doing it, I was like, there's so much more uses for this. Like I use it in my production. Like for most of the beats I do, on some level, there's something finger drummed in there. Something, not the whole groove. Or sometimes I'll just finger drum and then I'll edit after. Like I'll treat it like I found a break on a record. I'll finger drum for like 8 bars and then I'll sample that and chop that.
You bounce it to audio then and chop it up, or do you work? Okay.
To 2-track audio and go from there and process it. Like literally, like I just found this drum break on a record.
Mm-hmm.
To do with it? What would I do with this if I found it on a record? So it's changed how I make beats. But like I said, I didn't expect this, but anything, it's just fun. Like I'll put on like a 8-bar chord loop, put on a metronome, and I can literally just sit here and finger drum for like, I don't know, an hour straight.
Wow.
Not recording it, no intention of doing anything with it. And just do it. And like, I haven't had that much fun in anything musically in a long time. Like it used to be freestyling.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like the fun thing. You get with your friends and you just spit some bars for hours on. No intentions of recording it for a song. No one's ever going to hear this. And that's kind of what finger drum has become for me. So like, yeah, I don't know. I've heard people call me a finger drummer, and I kind of like, that makes me feel weird. Like, it's the thing I've been doing this amount of time, and you know, I know like Matt definitely gave it to me. Shout out to Matt about like playing down the skills And I really not like, I don't feel, because I look up to certain people in finger drumming, and like that's the goal. Like I want to be on like Stro Elliott level. I'm never gonna get to Stro Elliott level, but like until I'm there, like I don't feel like I have any expertise or should be talking about it to someone else. I'm still I'm learning every day shit and getting better, and there are things that I can do today that I couldn't do yesterday, and I'm sure there will be things I can do tomorrow that I couldn't do today. And I feel like once I get to a point where I'm comfortable, where I would be willing to get on a stage and however many people and do a 45-minute set of finger drumming. Until then, I'm not a finger drummer.
Okay, so this is your bar of like that you set yourself.
Maybe I'll settle for a 20-minute set. Doesn't have to be a 45-minute set. If I could do 20 minutes of finger drumming on stage and it's sounding good, like I'll be happy with that. I'm teaching other people.
It's technique number 3 from Cryp to kind of keep that pace up.
Yeah. Also, I think it's also important to be able to pivot that goal, because that wasn't always my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like originally, I don't even remember what my goal was, but like I got to a point where like that's stupid. Let me adjust. I don't know, man. Like I wasn't like this earlier in life. Like I didn't set goals, and I think that's why I got to the point where I had to start doing that, because I don't feel like I when I had the most eyes on me, when I had the most opportunity, is when I made the least amount of music. Oddly, I wasn't as prolific, and I think of like, had I been like in this mindset that I'm in now, then how much different the career trajectory probably would have been. Because like back then, I was one of those guys like, I'm not gonna make anything. I'm not inspired. I need to be inspired. I'll wait until the clouds part and the sun is at the right angle and the stars align, and then I'll make a beat. And then I'll try, and I don't like it, and then I'm like, fuck this. And then stars to align again 6 months later, I'll make a beat. You know, at some point you have to be an adult and realize that I think it took being an adult and not having the time, better use of the time that I had. And that is lost on the youth, and I wish that was a lesson that I learned 20 years ago. But you know, the only way you learn that shit is time. So if there's any piece of advice I give to anyone is, and this is gonna probably hurt a lot of people's feelings, but fuck inspiration. Like it doesn't exist. Discipline is far more important. It'll get you further. It'll make you better music. Like if you make something every day and force yourself, even when you don't want to do it, you'll be better off after a week than just sitting waiting for an idea to hit you from the blue. You may make 6 shitty beats, but the 7th one is going to be amazing. Make as much as you can. That's one of the things that, like, I don't know if Drums has said it specifically, but you can see it. Like, I don't even know how many beats he's made in this last, like, 7 or 8 days. It's like, it's every day, though. The fact that it's not, well, I don't know. I don't know what his grand plan is, but, like, it doesn't feel like there's any, like, intention. Like, this is for an album. This is just this is just who I am. This is what I do. I wake up and I make a beat. Like, that's, you guys are just, you get to see it here.
While on the topic of those goals, like you mentioned that the next year will be rap heavier again, and videos for, or at least maybe I didn't catch this right, but is this what you're going to do, or to focus on next year?
I'm still gonna be making a lot of beats, but I kind of and I haven't really put anything in motion yet, so I may have like put my foot in my mouth with it a little bit. but the goal is to get rappers on my beats.
Ah,
Just like big goals, like, you know, dream things that I would love. But I know a lot of rappers. I know a lot of rappers. I know a lot of rappers who are big in certain spaces, and even beyond that, I just know a lot of dope. I just want to get people who I like on my beats. It's been a while since I've done that, and coming up with Adam's Family, they always got first pick of every beat. So I've worked with them a lot, but I haven't worked outside of that much. It's been a couple here and there, but I kind of want to spread my wings in that space a little bit. So come January, I'm going to start reaching out to a lot of people. The flip side of that is I kind of hate that space also, because I've dealt with a lot of rappers in my life, and I know, and I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper who currently owes 3 verses to 3 different people right now that I need to get done, and I know I need to get them done, but I'm being a perfectionist and I want them right, and I know the deadlines are coming up, and so I know how rappers can be, and that just sounds like a nightmare of stress, like people promising verses, and I'm like, you know, I like the one great thing about the beat thing is that if it doesn't happen, I can only blame myself. I don't like depending upon other people, and dealing with rappers, it's going to be a lot of that. And rappers, God bless them, but fucking pains in the asses to deal with. And I say that as a rapper. I love all you rappers out there. Don't get me wrong, but you guys are pains in the asses. And the flip side, actually, producers are pains in the asses too, because similarly, I owe 3 rappers a pack of beats that I'm supposed to give them for a while now. And it's not like I don't have the beat. So I get both sides of it.
mhm.
But yeah, I did not like, I'm sure you saw that post on Instagram. I did not expect that post to get that much traction and that many responses. And like, damn. And like, I was like, shit, I was not ready for this. I was just trying to say, like, hey, next year I'm going to try and get some rappers. But now I'm like, shit, now I have to do this.
It's actually, yeah.
Same thing is back to square one with the smoking thing. I said it to people, and now, fuck, now I'm going to have to be held accountable because I don't want to let anyone down. So it's probably a good thing, but I'm already, I guess, preparing myself for the stress of just send the 16. Like, just send it. Just send the verse. Oh, man, I got stuff happening at the job this week, but you said you recorded it last week. Like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't like the first 4 bars. I had to redo it. And I can't say shit because I'm that guy. I'm that guy. So we'll see. What was the other thing you said? Oh, the camera stuff. Got a couple little new camera toys. And I'm gonna start shooting stuff like in the next week or 2. Mostly finger drumming stuff, I think, for now. I think I'm staying away from saying I'm gonna drop something every Friday or every Saturday or whatever. Because I don't want to deal with the pressure, but I think I'm gonna like take a couple of hours and just record like a bunch of different content, and just drop them whenever I feel like it. But I just want to kind of like, it's not something I've ever done before, but I just want to kind of like stockpile a bunch of stuff and then be able to just kind of release it as needed.
Do you want to work out the YouTube thing, or is it, what will the videos be, or where will they be?
That's gonna be Instagram. As far as YouTube goes, I do have some plans for that. I had plans for it last year, but it got sidetracked because the Friday singles took way more time. Excuse me, that I thought. I do want to get into like more of I don't want to be a YouTuber, but I guess be a YouTuber and like just kind of explaining process and those kinds of videos. Because as much as I've seen like other people's process, I think I do things a little bit differently than most people that I see. And yeah, no, just little tricks, specifically mostly with drums, because like I feel like my drums are kind of unique. And it's not hard stuff. It's stuff that once I show people, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's simple. Why didn't I think of that? But I have enough little, I've been doing this for shit. I've been making beats for 30 years now. I've collected some tips and stuff along the way. And I have stuff. I have an Akai S950 that I'm dying to get back into the workflow and see what I can do now with it that I couldn't do when it was my main tool 25, 30 years ago, so that's going to be interesting. And I think I want to record that just to kind of show my journey on that. Still figuring that out. It's hooked up, but I haven't used it. I'm waiting to get this turntable back. Because I have a lot of records and I haven't been sampling from records much lately because my turntable has this annoying like noise in it. So I'm not against noise, but that noise, it's annoying. It's like,
where do you sample then from? Like, what's the source? The main source is then internet, or?
No, I just have folders of shit that I've already done.
Okay.
It's still from vinyl, so to speak. Sometimes people send me stuff, or I've been using shout out to Carl. I kind of used to have Carl's stance on like sound packs and stuff, and it was actually drums that kind of like pointed out that I was like, oh shit, producers are using sound packs. When I saw drums use like I think it was a Soul Surplus one. I'm like, all right, let me try this stuff out. So I've made a bunch of stuff with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with my sources of sounds these days.
I remember you mentioning the going the subway noises or like the subway sounds. You do that as well, or
I haven't done it, but I used to do it a lot. I used to just use my phone and just kind of record sounds.
mm-hmm.
I used to honestly, and I want to get into this, but it's very time consuming. Do a lot more sound design kind of things. Just like mangling samples to like make new sounds. I don't really do it as much anymore. I don't know why. I used to do that on ASR 10 a lot. Yeah, I've definitely gotten to a different place with samples now, and I don't know if it's laziness or just lack of time or just I'm just in a different place. I have no idea, but I'd like to get back into that a little bit more. There's so many things I want to do. Like that's the biggest problem with me is I always, even like I said at the beginning of this conversation, like this is my month off, and I can't stop. I don't even know how to take time off of it. So my time off is me sitting here with a Google Doc thing open, typing my plans for next year. Like that is not time off. Yeah, I don't know where this conversation started or how we ended up back at the beginning.